Hello, and welcome to Heritage Universalist Unitarian Church's second pre-recorded worship service. I am the Reverend Leslie Woodward, the Assistant Minister for Religious Exploration here at Heritage. We're glad you're here, wherever here might mean. For me, here means the desk in my oldest son's bedroom, the one that we've, so far anyway, unsuccessfully turned into a guest room. If you hear any random noises, please excuse them. Our dog Bodie is upset that I won't let him in the room. So are the cats, Smokey and Dusk. We are glad you were able to join us. A few announcements. What would a worship service at Heritage be without an announcement or two or three or more? Your Heritage Board of Trustees have voted to close our building through the end of April. I know, I'm very sad about this too, but we need to protect ourselves, especially those of us who are most vulnerable, and we need to protect our wider community, especially those among us who are most vulnerable. That means we need to do a lot of reimagining. We need to reimagine how we can virtually meet together. We need to reimagine how we can share our abundance. Heck, we need to reimagine how to do our heritage auction without an in-person gathering. Wow, that's going to be a challenge. But we've got lots of imagination, right? Let's work together and make it happen. Next week, we are blessed to worship jointly with our neighboring UUs at First Unitarian. First UU's minister, the Reverend Connie Simon, will be leading worship via the Zoom video conferencing platform. Oh, don't worry. We are busy putting together instructions and practice sessions for all of us who are unfamiliar with using Zoom. If you want a head start, go to zoom.us. That's zoom.us, not .com. They have wonderful how-to videos on their own site. If you already have experience with Zoom or are willing to experiment, at noon today, I am hosting a Heritage Virtual Coffee Hour on Zoom. This is likely to fail. If it doesn't fail, it may be pandemonium, or maybe not. Join me and see. This evening at 7 p.m., I will be broadcasting a time together called Bedtime Story with Reverend Leslie using Facebook Live. I invite everyone to turn into this time together, even if your bedtime is later than 7. Instructions are forthcoming. Finally, we are creating a Heritage Network of Care. You should have received a link to the Heritage Needs and Gifts Survey through an HUUC announcement email. This survey will allow us to quickly put together care teams, as well as letting us know if anyone has immediate needs. Please complete it as soon as possible. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.
This poem is called Everything is Waiting for You by David White. Your great mistake is to act the drama as if you were alone, as if life were a progressive and cunning crime with no witness to the tiny hidden transgressions. To feel abandoned is to deny the intimacy of your surroundings. Surely, even you at times have felt the grand array, the swelling presence, and the chorus crowding out your solo voice. You must note the way the soap dish enables you, or the window latch grants you freedom. Alertness is the hidden discipline of familiarity. The stairs are your mentor of things to come. The doors have always been there to frighten you and invite you. And the tiny speaker in the phone is your dream ladder to divinity. Put down the weight of your aloneness and ease into the conversation. The kettle is singing even as it pours you a drink. The cooking pots have left their arrogant aloofness and seen the good in you at last. All the birds and creatures of the world are unutterably themselves. Everything is waiting for you. That's Everything is Waiting for You by David White.
Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot see like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
Let us enter into a time of worship together. When Unitarian Universalists gather, they light a chalice to signify that we are entering into sacred time. Our chalice lighting today is from the Reverend Florence Kaplow. On this strange Sunday, we gather together in new ways, linked to each other through the delicate tracery of electrons and through the invisible bonds of caring and love, sharing with millions the wondering and fear and uncertainty of this time. May each of us stay well and whole. May each of us find our ground of strength and clarity. May each of us let our hearts break open to new ways of caring for our neighbors as ourselves. May each of us know, even if we are alone, that we are held in a great embrace of love. Come, let us worship together. My dear, my dears, my dear members and friends and neighbors. There's no way around it. This is scary and confusing, and we are going to be profoundly more lonely and sad before it's over. Business as usual is no longer a possibility, and even when we reach a point when we have developed vaccines and treatments and herd immunity against the coronavirus, even then, things will not go back to just the way it was before. We are living through an inflection point of radical change. And while being deprived of one of our oldest and most basic resources, which is human connection. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I don't even play one on TV. Everything I think I know about COVID-19, I have learned in the past 3 weeks. Luckily, I'm a fast learner. At least I used to think so. But some of what I've learned is fascinating, even when it is not connected to a deadly virus outbreak. Now, I've known for some time that we are hardwired for connection. But this past week, I've learned even more about that hardwiring. I've learned that, like many primates and some other mammals, human beings have open limbic systems. This means that we are physically influenced by the way the bodies of people around us function. We influence one another's breathing, pulse, hormones, blood pressure, body temperature, to name just a few. When one person is subjected to stress, whether from physical injury or emotional crisis, that stress makes it more difficult for them to regulate their own physiological functioning. They feel tired, sick, anxious, weak. Does that sound familiar? Are any of us feeling that way right now? The normal and normally helpful response of others is to touch that person, to touch them, to hug them and hold them and be physically close. That helps to support their less regulated limbic system, helping them to regain their balance. The injured person can rest in the breathing and heartbeat of community and be allowed to heal. That impulse to take someone who is suffering literally into our arms is deeply instinctual and deeply right most of the time. The cruelest thing about the coronavirus and its kin is that they use our social nature against us. And in order to fight them, we must fight our own instinct of what it means to help and to care. It's a smart trick that virus has, but in the end, we are smarter, or we can be. What we are being told right now, and it makes sense, is that this virus is so contagious and our bodies are so unprepared for it that the most effective response is to practice social distancing, which means to stay away from each other. In a crisis like this, that which would normally pull us toward our friends and communities of support, we must discipline each other to stay away. No touching, 6 feet or more between us. And this does not mean that we won't get sick eventually, only that we won't get sick as fast and as all together, and that gives our healthcare infrastructure a better chance to take care of us. So, if we are smart, we will keep that crucial distance, which slows down the progress of the epidemic, so that more of us will be okay in the end. And that means that gatherings like our regular Sunday worship in our beautiful sanctuary with the round window where we see the sky and the change of seasons, gatherings like that won't be safe for a while. How long will we need to stay apart? How long will we be separated? For as long as it takes. The problem, of course, is that a church is all about connection. That is what religion is. Renewing and strengthening our connections to each other is one very important dimension. And so many of the ways we do this are in fact physical. We come together, we greet each other with touch, we sing together, we eat together, we breathe the same air as we conspire together to change the world. All of this we must now relinquish, let go of. Yes, we will grieve, and yes, we will be lonely, and yes, we will get cabin fever, and perhaps want to strangle our household companions once or twice. And that's only those of us who are privileged enough to stay at home without serious concerns for ourselves, our loved ones, or even our bank accounts. I'd like to share a reading, adapted slightly, from a woman in Seattle named Cameron Wiggins Bellum. Prayer for a pandemic. May those of us who are merely inconvenienced remember those whose lives are at stake. May those who have no risk factors remember those who are most vulnerable. May those who have the luxury of working from home remember those who must choose between preserving their health or making their rent. May those who have the flexibility to care for their children when schools close remember those who have no options. May those who have to cancel their trips remember those that have no place to go. May those who are losing their margin money in the tumult of the economic market remember those who have no margin of safety at all. May those who are settling in for a quarantine at home remember those who have no home. As fear grips our world, let us choose love. During this time when we cannot physically wrap our arms around each other, let us find ways to be the loving embrace of God for our neighbors. Dear ones, I would so much love to wrap my arms around each and every one of you. I invite you to join our Zoom coffee hour beginning at noon today, so at least we can see each other's wonderful faces. The link will be posted on our website. For now, I invite you to share the spiritual challenge of maintaining our connection to one another and to the ideals that we share, even while we are forbidden to touch. we are sacrificing something that is profoundly good and that we deeply want and enjoy and depend on in the service of a larger purpose so that people may live. If you have the financial means, donate funds to the Interfaith Hospitality Network. If you are lonely or scared, reach out for connection and comfort. If you are healthy with no risk factors, look around you for ways to help your neighbors. My deepest prayer is that our community may live and thrive over the long term. And we are, I promise you, doing this together. We are smart. Smarter than this virus. We are creative. We will figure this out. We can do this. We will do this. For as long as it takes. Amen. And blessed be.
Parker Palmer wrote in Let Your Life Speak, Listening for the Voice of Vocation, the following words: self-care is never a selfish act. It is simply good stewardship of the only gift I have, the gift I was put on earth to offer others. Anytime we can listen to true self and give it the care it needs, we do it not only for ourselves, but for the many others whose lives we touch. This is a time of self-care for as long as it takes. We are discovering together new ways of caring for self, for others, for community. New ways to touch lives without literally touching each other, or perhaps even leaving our homes. New ways to manifest good stewardship for self, for our beloved Heritage Church. Please take a look at Reed's video where he talks about church stewardship during this unprecedented time. Sharing our abundance, still touching other lives when the touch is so different from a plate passed in community at church, is both possible and needed. As much as we need each other, there are others who we may or may not know, searching for a path to self-care and care of family. Last week, we suggested sharing our abundance with Inner Parish Ministry via their website. This week, we look to another long-time community partner with a similar name, but a different mission. The Interfaith Hospitality Network of Greater Cincinnati, also known as IHN, provides emergency shelter to homeless families through interfaith church communities and works with families to find and retain stable housing. In addition to shelter, they provide animal shelter to lessen the possibility of having to part with a beloved family pet. Their work is under extreme duress right now, with churches and schools being closed. To donate, please visit their website at ihncincinnati.org. That's ihncincinnati.org. And look for the donation button. Thank you for the gift of your giving. 2020 by Linda Susan Ulrich. The cloudless, watery blue sky has yet to learn about the small virus wreaking havoc on the earth below. The redbuds emerging from winter trees have no idea they're awakening to a world where people can't hold the hands of their dying. The wind blows chill air through, whether or not cheeks and fingers remain protected within walls. Stars continue to burn their great stores of energy. Do they also fear the day they'll run out? But birds, the birds know everything about singing to each other across empty spaces. Dogs understand greetings that don't involve touch. Tortoises take things slowly and carry their sense of home everywhere. Cats flatten their curves all the time. What will history write about this moment? What will our children remember? May it be a story of mutual care across boundaries, a habit of compassion as hopeful as the spring's return, as encompassing as the vaulted sky. March 2020 by Linda Susan Ulrich. March 2020 by Linda Susan Ulrich. The cloudless, watery blue sky has yet to learn about the small virus wreaking havoc on the earth below. The redbuds emerging from winter trees have no idea they're awakening to a world where people can't hold the hands of their dying. The wind blows chill air through, whether or not cheeks and fingers remain protected within walls. Stars continue to burn their great stores of energy. Do they also fear the day they'll run out? But birds, the birds know everything about singing to each other across empty spaces. Dogs understand greetings that don't involve touch. Tortoises take things slowly and carry their sense of home everywhere. Cats flatten their curves all the time. What will history write about this moment? What will our children remember? May it be a story of mutual care across boundaries, a habit of compassion as hopeful as the spring's return, as encompassing as the vaulted sky. March 2020 by Linda Susan Ulrich.
We close our worship today with words from Reverend Wayne Arneson. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard. The path is never clear, and the stakes are very high. Take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone. Please put your hand on your heart and repeat the words of our benediction together. May the spirit of life that each of us possesses flow from one to the other. May it stay with us and bring us peace and harmony until we meet again. Be well, my friends. Take care of yourselves and each other. I'm holding you all in my heart.